No, I'm not lucky, I'm blessed. Yes, clap for the heavyweight champ, me. But I couldn't do it all alone.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the I'm Not Lucky, I Am Blessed podcast, Fitness Friday segment. And as the name implies, today we'll be talking about fitness, okay? But not just physical fitness. I know you guys think, because I love physical fitness, about physical fitness, but there's more to me than just physical fitness. I believe in mental health, I believe in social fitness, financial, and all that. And today I have a good friend of mine who I think, also believes the same thing that I believe in. And today he's going to come share some knowledge with you guys, okay? So, guys, make some noise for the one and only Josh, my good friend,
Thank
and
you.
my boss at work.
Thanks for having me, Lucky.
A pleasure, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It was a good day.
Yeah. Can we tell the people how this is the second time we're taking this?
Yeah.
It's crazy. We started this whole episode like 12 minutes ago, and then just the whole thing just crashed.
Camera
failure and all that, and then now we're starting over again.
We're here.
Good spirit.
Yep.
Not complaining.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. So, first of all, thanks for doing this with me.
Of course.
Appreciate you.
Love it.
Yeah. So this segment is about fitness.
Okay.
I know you're a huge fan of physical fitness too,
Mm-hmm.
but I know something too, that you're also a huge fan of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I believe mental health comes first before physical fitness for you.
I think they definitely go hand in hand.
Oh, they actually go hand in hand. I didn't even know that. I thought one actually comes before the other.
I think that there's a relationship between the two.
Oh, huh.
People who are very physically fit,
Yeah.
in turn I don't want to say you have to be mentally very fit
Yeah.
or have a lot of mental toughness,
Yeah.
but in the same breath, they kind of go together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you take different physical goals. Maybe you want to squat 500 pounds.
Yeah.
To get to the point where you've done training for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, maybe it takes you 4 years to reach a 500 pound squat.
Yes.
To get to that level of determination and dedication, to put a heavy bar on your back every week,
Yeah.
twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever, that takes a lot of mental toughness.
Wow.
It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Maybe the result that you get out of it is fun and exciting, but I know for sure that it's a scary thing. You put heavy weights on your back, or you're picking heavy things up, you risk the potential to injure yourself.
Yeah.
You're literally pushing yourself to your body's limit so that you can adapt to whatever stimulus
Oh, yeah.
you're putting on your body. And it takes a lot of mental toughness.
Do you think everybody sees it that way?
I think that people who care a lot about these types of things do see it that way.
Yeah.
However, if you're talking about the gym and fitness and basic goals, maybe less so. And you got to remember, for you and I, the gym, physical fitness, those goals are our number 1 priority, number 2 priority, maybe number 3.
Yeah.
But for a lot of other people on a list of 10 things, it's number 11.
That's true. Cause I like how you completely broke that down by saying you lifting that amount for a certain period of time is mental toughness. But myself, I never thought that. I mean, I get the picture you're painting, but I could tell if someone just goes to the gym and does that, but thinks mental toughness has, that name mental toughness probably needs a whole different. They have a different mind, like, belief towards it, that I think it has to do with suffering and stuff like that, but and forgetting that the lifting of weight too, it's a suffering that actually is building mental toughness. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like I know people that consistently go to the gym, but they never think they're mentally tough.
Okay, well, maybe that's personal to them.
Yeah.
And it also depends on what sort of level of a gym goer they are. If they're your average gym goer, there might not be a lot of mental toughness that's involved.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you're striving for something great,
mental toughness is involved.
Definitely. Think about how many days you have to be in the gym. Think about how consistent you have to be. Think about how outside the gym you need to be taking care of your sleep, your stretching, recovery protocols, nutrition.
Yeah.
All of that takes a lot of mental toughness that I would sort of boil down to discipline.
And then discipline, like you said, is the key to mental
toughness. I think mental toughness starts with discipline.
Yeah.
If you don't have discipline as a foundation, you know how you're going to get there. And I also think that the things that we're talking about teaches you mental toughness for the rest of life too. What I'm saying is, you know, if you can start to build some mental toughness, some grit, some determination through putting a heavy bar on your back, you start to realize that the rest of life isn't too dissimilar from unracking a heavy squat bar and going down and going back up with it.
Ooh.
Right? Like,
that's facts.
All right, so let's compare what I just talked about, the actual squat, to life. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of times in life that the weight feels heavy.
Yes, sir.
Right? Like,
yes, sir.
Different obstacles.
Almost every time.
Yeah, different things pop up in life. You know, you could use something like COVID as an example. Different tragedies, different things that you have to deal with. Maybe you have to pick the kids up from school and they're screaming, going crazy. Maybe you're dealing with a boss at work who's, you know, not seeing things the way you see it and you're having some sort of disagreement. Sometimes life gets heavy. You unrack that bar, you feel the heavy weight on your back, and you go, oh shit. Like, that feels really heavy right now. Like, can I go down and
can I go down and
but you're
back?
Determined, right? You have that sort of mental grit and fortitude to say, I am going to go down and go up with it. I don't know how it's going to go in between, but I'm going to start my descent because I already unracked the bar.
Oh, you're going to rack the bar,
All right? So now you're going down, you feel a lot of pressure, things are getting heavy.
People watching you.
Yep. You get to the bottom of the squat and you realize you're deep in the hole, you're down and out. You're at the most disadvantaged position you can get to, right? Just like sometimes life pops up with different things, different obstacles that feels a lot the same way. You're down and out. You're not at an advantaged position, you're at a disadvantaged position. But you're still at the bottom and you say, I still got to come back up. I got this heavy weight that's going to crush me. I got no choice. And that grit and that mental fortitude pushes you to say, I got no choice to stand up, you know? You get back to the top and you have some sort of sense of accomplishment because you overcame that heavy thing. You've provided some sort of stimulus to your body. Now your body has to adapt and get better. Re-rack the bar.
I'll probably go on this end. Another rep. But like, so you put the heavy weight on your back. Same thing with life. What gives you that courage that if you go down, you'll be able to come up?
Sometimes you don't. But you shoot for it because it's a goal you have. And if all of the other training has gone according to plan, you've laid the foundation to be able to achieve it, even if you still have those doubts in your mind. You know, you should have laid the framework, the groundwork for you to be able to tackle that weight, right? But even still, sometimes you miss weights.
That's true.
And guess what? You take the plates off. You dust yourself off. You re-rack the bar. You put the plates back on. You do it again. You never fail unless you actually give up.
That's true.
Just like with life. The mental toughness part of things tells you, well, yeah, you're going to fail. But did you actually fail if you continue to push forward?
No, you didn't.
No, it's just rerouting. It's just retrying. Success is really found from the summation and culmination of all your different failures. That's how you learn.
Wow. Okay. Let's take it a few feedback. What does fitness mean to you? The word fitness, like, you know, when you hear the word fitness, what does it mean to you?
Initially, fitness has a connotation that's sort of like soft to me. What I mean is, when I think of fitness, I don't think of heavy training and serious grit and determination.
You really don't?
I kind of think of more of like cardio bunnies, people that just kind of go through the motions and show up to the gym because they feel like they should, you know? But I mean, fitness can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Fitness. I'm brought right back to discipline for myself, personally. You know, past what I just said about fitness. Fitness has to be about improvement. Fitness is about taking yourself from where you're at.
Yeah.
Setting some sort of goal, and then mapping out a plan to reach that goal. And it can be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
It could be something cardiovascular or endurance based. It could be strength based, like you mentioned earlier. It could be financially based.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There are different types of fitness. It's getting yourself in shape. Whether you need to get your bank account in shape.
Yeah.
Or you need to get your actual body in shape, or
Relationship in shape.
Yep.
I like that. So, what does mental toughness now means to you?
Mental toughness.
Yeah.
I mean, mental toughness comes back to that sort of determination that I was talking about. That grit. It's saying that even when obstacles are in the way, you're going to find a way to innovate your way out of a problem and get it done.
Yeah.
Being mentally tough is being resilient. That's one of the big words that I think of when I hear mental toughness. It's resilience. It's the ability to adapt to different things, to overcome circumstances that just the odds are stacked against you.
But is it like normal in life to live a life? Is it okay to go through life without being mentally tough? Can one be just, I don't want to be mentally tough, I just want to, live life like that?
It's actually a good question. I mean, you certainly can, but I would wonder if you're living the best life you could. I mean, people go through life all the time being victims, not being mentally tough, playing the victim role. But I think society looks at those people in a certain type of way. And I know personally, I couldn't stand to go through life without being mentally tough. But it also means a lot of different things,
Yeah.
I just said mental toughness talks about resilience, the ability to kind of handle things that are coming at you. And then what I think about based off of that is not letting things get to you. That's being mentally tough. Or even if things do get to you, you don't show that necessarily. Not because it's wrong to have emotion, but because you should think before you act. And you should take pause to decide if, the things that are coming your direction are really worth reacting to in the way that your brain initially wants to respond. That's also being mentally tough.
How does one get to that stage where you start to know things like that? Like, is this what my energy and, let's use you for an example. Okay. Quick question. Were you always like this? Because people who don't know you, I think you're mentally tough.
Thank you.
And that's why I brought you here. I've seen you handle things. I've seen you do things. I've seen, it's not even about the weightlifting. I mean, with what you're lifting too, it shows how mentally strong you are. But I've seen you thrive in uncomfortable situation. I think you're okay being awkward. I think you're okay being you don't even need someone's validation.
That's fair.
You could you literally you're okay being alone.
I'm definitely okay being alone. I do need validation.
But,
however, I'm maybe good at letting on that I don't.
Yeah, there's this picture you paint that I get, it's come rain, come shine. I'm still gonna be here. You get me, right? If it's good, if it's bad, consistent. I will still show up. I will still do what I want to do, and I think that's what has made you who you are right now. And I still believe that. I mean, there are still more goals for you that some things you want to do. But how did you move from this? Where were you at first, and finally you get to this stage?
Okay. Well, going back to the training stuff, I would really credit a lot of what I've learned about mental toughness back to training.
Wow.
You know, I'll talk about something else, but seriously, like, there are so many different types of cheesy lessons that you can learn from the weight room.
Yeah.
From pushing yourself, overcoming adversity.
Yeah.
You know, realizing goals over time. Like, I really credit pushing myself through training to be able to build a lot of mental toughness. But besides that, I think it's also a nature versus nurture thing. It's your upbringing. It's what you came from.
Yeah.
You know?
Where did you come from?
I grew up in a family, 5 kids. I'm the oldest of 5. Single mother.
Oh, wow.
You know, my grandfather supported us a whole lot growing up. My mom raised all of us. From an early age, I was kind of the man of the house. You know, kind of had to take charge maybe assume that role because I felt like I should.
Yeah.
My dad was around. I would see him about once a month or so. You know, growing up, visit him a couple hours away. So it's not like I didn't have a father. But also I was in a household and I was raised without a father present every single day.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like those sort of life positions that you're put into kind of force you to step up to different things.
Facts.
I also came from a family that wasn't like super well off when it came to the finances.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we were poor by any means, and I was afforded a lot of abilities to, you know, go to a really great school, for example, but I didn't come from everything being handed to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't the person that was told, hey, here's your college tuition.
Yeah.
Go to college, see things through. I was the person that had to figure out how to pay for it myself. Wasn't given a whole lot of things from that perspective. So it kind of forces you to be mentally strong because you have to actually work for those things instead of, you know, maybe some other people, it's just there. You know?
That's true.
I've seen this a lot in like hiring trainers or working with different people. It's the people that have been either kind of down and out and want to finally get themselves where they want to go in life, or it's the people who haven't been afforded different abilities earlier in life that really want to prove something to other people. It's the people that are actually hungry and determined as a result of the other circumstances in their life. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So back to the story you were saying, how you grew up, because I see the trend. You get me, right? You've been in that situation where you were made to lead at a very early age.
Yep.
You worked for yourself, you know, put yourself through college and all that. That's building mental toughness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let me let you continue with the story because this is like the first time I'm hearing you share your personal story. So if you don't mind, that's.
Where do you want me to go with it specifically based off of, you know, what I said so far?
So you stopped at where college, you get me, right? And then like, you know, because the question was, how did you get to this point? So I wanted to know what you were back then. Were you this weak guy, and then something made you to become this, you know what? I want to be this guy that is unbreakable.
Yeah.
Because people, like, I heard you talked about some challenges that you've done in the past, like to push yourself and all that, you know, and the normal person don't just wake up and think, let me push myself to this limit, you know. And I also want you to share those experiences with us, to those stories, you know, like the what's this guy, Wim Hof, right? Wim Hof, yeah, that you did, like, it's pretty incredible, you know.
Okay,
so,
yeah, I can talk about that some.
Yeah.
All right, so I've always had this, like, hunger for knowledge. I've always been curious. I've always wanted to learn a lot, as much as I possibly can. So, and I always want to be the best, you know? Whatever it is that I'm interested in the moment, whatever my infatuation is, I have to completely research things to the point of exhaustion. I have to throw myself in very deeply to become a master at it, a complete professional. Just cover all my bases, right? So after I was done with college, the next thing that I would say that kind of pushed me to be mentally tough was I didn't go back home. The easy thing for me would have been to head back home, live with my family, figure out a job from there. But instead, I took an opportunity to move up to New England to get going with a small strength and conditioning company. And the odds were stacked against me. I had no money, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in debt from college. Didn't have enough money to pay for rent. Luckily, at the time, I was dating somebody and I got to move in with her family, and they kind of supported me for the first few months. We broke up initially, but I kept living with the family because I had nowhere else to go unless I wanted to go back home. Even my boss at the time said, you know, maybe you should circle back the wagon and go back to Pennsylvania. Like, you're not cutting it here, you know? Like, you're done with the girlfriend. You don't have any money. Like, you're living in your ex's house now.
Imagine how that sounds.
And it was an unpaid internship for 6 months.
For 6 months.
So it was, you know, put in your time, prove it, and then we'll start paying you. So I'm in an oh shit situation, right? Like, should I go home? Should I stay? And I decided, no, you know what? This is what I set out to do.
Yeah.
I want to see the process through. I want to build something. I want to make something of myself, and I definitely don't want to go back home. Just because, to me, like, the idea of giving up and going home, it's not like I didn't like being home, but, you know, I felt like I was giving up.
Yeah.
And there was something in me that just wanted to overcome that adversity. So I stuck it out. I ended up getting a part-time job at a gym. You know, I applied at that gym for a front desk position. They actually convinced me to get into personal training. It was the best thing that I ever did. But at that point, I had no money and I needed a place to live because I was still living with my ex's family, right? So I started to save up a little money. I was able to move out. I moved in somewhere else, and that was a terrible situation. I ended up moving out in 20 days. And I said, okay, I got to find another place again. Here we go. Ended up moving in with somebody else. And just 2 months later, that person sold the house. They were moving. So I said, oh, shit, I got to move again.
Damn.
I got to figure myself out. And then, you know, some nice people kind of helped me out, took me in as I was starting to get on my feet and develop things. And I lived with them for the next couple of years. But it's just saying, like, you know what? I'm not okay with not succeeding. I'm going to keep figuring it out, even though life keeps knocking me down.
It knocked you down.
Yeah.
It knocked you really down. And the question, like, I'm just wondering is, all these things, is it really what makes people, like, you know, is that the price you really have to pay to become great? Because you were asking for something really huge. You wanted to be the best. Not just in what you were doing, but I believe you wanted to be the best in life. You wanted to be successful. You wanted to be great.
Well, you just said, is it the price that you have to pay? Do people have to... Like, I look at it as I was afforded the ability to have to pay that stuff to learn lessons from it.
Oh.
Like, I don't look at that as a negative. I look at that as that's what pushed me to be who I am now.
How?
What do you mean?
At that stage, how did you see something like that as?
Oh, I'm not claiming at that point in my life I saw that.
Okay, well, right now.
But that determination in me, you know, and I'm also a person that recognizes that, especially, again, because of the gym, like, you do have to go through uncomfortable things to get better. Wow. What in your life have you ever gotten better from without going through an uncomfortable part first?
None.
Like, how do you get money? You have to put yourself out there. You have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice your time. You have to put in, you know, different amounts of hard work and effort at different places. It's not easy. You have to get going. You have to build up. You have to learn a different skill set. You know.
Yeah. Right?
Like, you have to go through hard times unless you're literally just lucky.
I mean, no one is lucky.
No, I actually believe in that. You know, I sometimes take offense to when people say, oh,
lucky.
like, you know, that guy's so lucky.
So
Look
lucky.
at where he's at.
Look at where he's at.
No, like, look at all the hard work that he put in.
Josh, if you didn't tell me this, okay, no disrespect, but I would think you're lucky. You get it, right? And like that's what I keep telling. Like the more I get to hear you speak, the more I'm like, fuck.
You hear the story.
I hear the story, like, and it's so beautiful that you're sharing the story with me. I honestly just love the story because anybody would just see you and think you just woke up one morning and became this guy you are, or tomorrow, because I know so much greatness out there for you. Like someone might just see you and say, oh yeah, this guy was just lucky. But like no one knew what you went through. Like you lived with your ex in the same building.
You don't even know.
With the person I know you as, I never thought you could do something like that, you know. But like
resilience, mental toughness.
what were you telling yourself in that situation? You know, all this time, like, what was that one thing that kept you going, or like, how did you motivate yourself?
I was saying, I need to get some money and figure out how to get the fuck out of here. That's what I was saying.
So meaning someone that's mentally tough actually just takes shit. Like, I mean, he knows where he's going to, but he knows that, hey,
it's not just taking shit.
Yeah.
It's not just saying like, you know, throw a bunch of shit on me.
Yeah.
But it's taking that and turning it into something positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, based off of what you were saying too, you look at somebody who's successful and you say, "Oh, they're lucky."
They're lucky.
You think about people like Jeff Bezos, who started Amazon. If you look back to him in the old days, you realize it's just him in a closet full of books trying to get off the ground, a little banner above his desk.
Yeah.
And you don't think about all the different things that he had to do to overcome adversity and get to where he's at now. You look at Microsoft. Bill Gates, I think he started that stuff in his garage.
Yeah.
Right? How many years did it take for him to finally get successful and, you know, kind of crack the code in terms of building an amazing platform that everyone around the world uses every day?
Yeah.
You look at different people, different entrepreneurs, different really successful people, and I don't know that everyone always looks to their full story and the full picture of what they had to go through to get to where they're at now. Sam Walton, he started Walmart. I can't remember the exact age that he was at, but I think that man failed throughout his life until he was in his 50s, and then he finally, you know, and think about how big Walmart
50s.
is. I think you should look it up sometime.
Yeah.
I want to say he was like 54 when Walmart finally got to the point where he hit it big.
Wow.
It was just a lifetime of failure. How old are you right now?
I'm 27.
Okay, so double
my life.
And now you're somewhere.
And now
in Sam Walton's world, the biggest grocery store, superstore in the world, right?
So is it like the bigger you fail, the better I read this book. It says something that if you're doing something right now and you're getting good results out of it right now, there's probability that the later ends will be bitter. Like if you plant something and you're getting good fruits, the first few weeks of it, be scared because that shit is not going to last. But like, you know, it should be like towards the end, like, you know, if you're getting good result right now, just know that shit is going to bring bad results at the end of it.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
What goes up must come down.
Yep. And I was like, ooh, I really like, oh boy. So like for me, you know, I remember when I was going through times like this too, and to be honest, I would cry. Like I would ask myself, like, why is this happening to me? That was the young me. And then someone introduced me to books, and I started reading about this entrepreneurs and stuff like that, you know, and I discovered that, look, this is the price you have to pay. So now my mind moved from a point where I was complaining about these things to being grateful for these things. Like for real. I remember like sometimes when these things were happening, I'm like, why me? But now it's like, why not me? You get me, right? It got to a point I'm like, try me.
Yeah.
You get like that's how my mind got, like my mindset got strong. And that's because of like I read so many, I had so many experiences, and then I read about so many people. Like I love to read about the great. I think that's the only thing I read about in this world, how they failed and started. So that's kind of like what helped me. What helped you in those situations? Like, did you get to that point where you questioned yourself, you questioned life, and then, you know, in those questioning, how did you get to become comfortable with it?
That's actually a really good question. I'm trying to think about how to answer it well, you know? what was it that actually pushed me through and drove me to get where I'm at right now?
Yeah.
I actually think that I thrive a lot off of other people. I like getting a rise out of people in terms of having them see where I'm at and seeing that I've pushed myself to be more successful. So, one thing that's really carried me through is leaning on the support of others.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's one thing that has helped me get to where I'm at right now. But the other thing is all internal, right? Like I have that external motivation.
Yeah.
But then that internal drive,
Right. Yeah.
it doesn't come from a fear of failing.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes from a yearning to succeed and wanting to be the best. Like I guess that's it. It's plain and simple. I just want to be the best at whatever I do. Whatever I'm passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
whatever I want to learn about, I just want to be the best. And that's what drives me, motivates me.
Wow. So you just made up your mind. You just want to be the best, and so that was enough. Just the fact that you wanted to be the best was enough reason for you to just accept, whatever you
When I say the best, I mean I want to be respected.
respected. Okay.
It's not necessarily an ego thing. It's more of like I want to be appreciated.
Yeah.
I want to be respected for where I'm at. I want people to recognize the hard work that I put in. And I also want myself internally to recognize that I'm proud of the things that I've done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your work ethics.
Okay.
How hard are you ready to work for something?
Whatever I have to do to get there.
Like, give an example of something that you went all in to get it done.
All right. You want to talk about more of like the physical fitness side of things, or
Anything in general.
how hard am I willing to work to get something?
Yeah.
To me, like there's no other option than to succeed. So how hard am I willing to work to get there? However hard I have to work to get there, basically. I know it seems redundant, but
yeah.
If I really believe in something and I really value it,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep innovating my way out of whatever problems are happening.
Yeah.
I move up to something and I hit a roadblock and I say, okay, well, what do I have to do to get past that roadblock? How do I get around it? And I'm just going to keep trying until I finally break through,
Yeah.
I think things early in life, like problem solving and logic and that sort of thing help me. And then things like, like the actual physical training and overcoming adversity there. But even from a young age, like I would kind of teach myself different things about computer programming, for example. Like initially in life, I wanted to be something in the computer world. I wanted to be some sort of engineer. An electrical engineer is what I went to college for initially. I got really interested in computers back in high school and taught myself some programming languages. And I think the logic that goes into programming also kind of teaches you how to get around other problems. What I mean is, like, you come to a roadblock and then you have a if this, then do this. If this, then do this. If it's this case, why don't you end up doing this thing? So you just have a bunch of like if and then statements. And if the first one doesn't work, it jumps to the next one and jumps to the next one. And you just keep going until you get around that and keep moving.
So there's a saying that I always say, walk smart, not hard.
Walk smart. Not, okay.
Yeah, that's why everyone, it's not about how hard you walk, it's about how smart you walk.
Mm-hmm.
I want to refer that question to you. What do you believe in? Do you think it's about working hard or working smart? And what has helped you the most?
How do you define working hard? Because I think it's silly to work hard without. It's silly to work hard and just waste your time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if you're putting in a lot of effort, but that effort is directed in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time.
That's true.
If you're focused on So in that regard, it's better to work smartly, but intelligently. But it's way, 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 way better to work intelligently, to work smart, and to work hard. Right? So like, it depends.
So working hard is I think working smart is a little bit of like using supplements, for example, to build energy, to build muscle.
Okay.
Because that's like, oh yeah, I mean, why do I want to go through all that work when I can just take this and get big?
Mm-hmm.
That's smartness, you thinking,
Mm-hmm.
right? Working hard is like, if it requires me putting 10,000 hours to get this every day, let it be done.
Mm-hmm.
Then if I take supplements instead of working 10,000 hours, I just have to work 5,000 hours.
You know what I
to
say?
get it done. What did you say?
I say, why don't you take the supplements and work?
And work.
That's what I say.
But is it possible to
That's
take
what
this?
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. Because I think like
But you learn over time how to work more intelligently based off of your previous failures, your different experiences,
Yeah.
like the different things that you go through. By process of elimination, you say, okay, I'm working my ass off. I'm working, I'm going. And then, oh, this isn't working.
Yeah.
I'm going to scratch that off a list and I'm going to keep working.
Yeah.
But now you're working more intelligently because you just got rid of something that was holding you back or
That's true.
was a waste of time or, like let's say we're at the gym, you want a new client, and I say, Lucky, you need to work really, really hard. And you're like, sure, sign me up. I'm ready to go. Hard work is what I do.
Yeah.
And then I see you on the treadmill, busting your ass. You're always working out. You're looking out the window. And I go over to you and I say, well, Lucky, I thought you wanted to build your training base. Don't you want a bunch of clients? And you're like, oh, yeah, I do. I'm working hard here. Like, can't you see I'm really in shape? And I say, yeah. Well, you look the part, but you have to work hard in the right direction.
Yeah.
You're working on yourself, which is good because you're improving the way that you look, but why don't you focus most of your hard work towards meeting people, introducing yourself to people? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's like channeling the energy to the right direction.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So hard work is important. Working smart is important. But the hard work not directed in the right direction
Could be a waste.
But sometimes you have to go through those wastes of time to figure out what's worth your time.
You think it's a waste of time when you go through those waste of time moments? You think it's actually a waste of time?
No, because it's an opportunity cost.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's an absolute waste of time because you still learn from that. You learn what you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
It becomes a waste of time if you realize the things that you shouldn't do and you keep doing them. Then that's a waste of time.
That's a waste of time. 100%. I agree with that. You've read the book. You want to say something?
Yeah. What I want to say, the other thing is like, this is like the age-old conversation about hard work versus talent.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you take hard work and talent in the same room, two different people, hard work, talent will beat hard work if talent works hard.
Yep.
Hard work will not beat talent.
Never.
If talent is working hard.
Yeah.
But hard work will beat talent every single day if the talent doesn't work hard. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
You can have an athlete who's absolutely a specimen. They're a physical specimen.
Yeah.
Right? They have all the elements to be successful in whatever sport they're playing.
Yeah.
But they're lazy. And then you take the other athlete who's not as talented but wants to bust their ass and is focusing their efforts in the right direction.
Yeah.
They can beat that person.
Right.
You take something like a Ford, you have a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Well, you can't soup up a Ford to the point where you're outpacing the Ferrari. Like, it only has so much potential. But if the Ferrari breaks down or the Ferrari isn't running on all
No.
cylinders,
Ford might.
beat it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just like this example that Kobe Bryant, rest in peace to him, was saying about Shaq O'Neal.
Mhm.
They asked him if Shaq had the same work ethic like you did, what would have happened? He like would have won like millions of rings, like thousands of rings, because he was like that. Shaq didn't have that work ethic. He had the talent, he had the size, he had everything, but he wasn't just training as hard as I am. So that's kind of like what, like boiling back to what you said. Some people are just gifted at it, but they don't know how to work to balance, like to mix hard work and talent together, while others are just 24/7 grinding too, because they know they are not really gifted at it. Because if you listen to Kobe, he had weaknesses. He had so many weaknesses that he had to work daily to improve, and the more he worked, the better he got. So that was how he was able to, like, beat all this, be who he is, and that's why I guess those other guys weren't really recognized like him.
Yeah.
Because they were just putting in the least amount of effort to win. Unlike someone that puts in more than enough amount to win. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer, but I'm curious what you think.
Okay.
In life, you're in some sort of situation.
Yeah.
What sort of uncomfortable things do you think that you could take on that you could get better from as a result?
Can you rephrase that question?
Yeah, like, like different things that you go through on a daily basis are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Why do you put yourself in uncomfortable situations? Why do you allow that to happen?
Why do I allow that?
Why
to
don't you
happen?
just end up keeping everything nice and
Comfortable
comfy and happy?
And happy, yeah.
Why do you allow that bad
Why
stuff to
do
happen?
I like that bad stuff to happen? Perfect question. Why do I love being uncomfortable? First things first, I love being uncomfortable. I love putting myself in uncomfortable situations.
But why?
But why? I have realized that nothing good comes easy. Easy come, easy go. And that's why I don't brag a lot about my abs, but I feel like I have great abs because of how much I train them. And you know what's funny? Every single day I train them, I feel the pain. It's so uncomfortable, like very painful. I was telling someone the same pain you go through is the same pain I go through, but the thing is that I see the picture of what I want up here, so it pushes me to go even further, So what actually makes me, appreciate that whole discomfort, it's just, I have experimented with so many things, you get, right? Reading about so many people, listen to so many people, and and discover that the greats, the people we admire, never was comfortable. We tend to, we look at these people, we admire them, but we kind of like do the opposite of them. We want to be comfortable. We want to be liked by everyone. We want to have friends. We want to go out and chill, but these people never did that. You get, right? So I was like, ooh, so if this is what, like, I read about Kobe, and he was like, he had to sacrifice sleep. And I made up my mind, like, I'm going to sacrifice sleep. I'm going to sacrifice sleep. I read about this guy, fucking show up every day. Okay, I'm going to show up every day. So for me, it's really more about, like, I have this picture of where I'm going to. And whatever price that has to be paid. Like, for example, there was this year I was doing a squat. I know I'm all over the place, but like there's this year I wanted to do a squat every day. I don't think I've told you this story. And I told my friend, my roommate, and I was like, look, this is what I'm about to go on. It's a squat every day challenge for like 60 days.
I did the same thing.
You did the same thing, right? And I was like, I don't know if I can take this, but literally I've signed up my mind to die with it. Like, I told him, like, if I die during this process, you understand, right? So I took that's not about bodybuilding, that I'm never scared of bodybuilding, pushing myself, because I've already made up my mind that if I die doing this shit, I'm good. You get it, right? But the last thing is, I don't want to die without trying. Yeah. So if I die in the process of trying, just bury me. Just know I died happily because I pushed myself.
Yeah.
So I made up that contract, and then I started squatting every day, and it wasn't fun the first day. I pushed myself, and then it got to a stage where I just started flowing with I just started going with the flow of squatting. Like it became a habit to me. Like literally, if I go to the gym and I don't squat, I feel bad. So putting myself through things like that just started making me realize that, look, this might be uncomfortable for you at the first period, but once you get into the habit of it, it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah, your body adapts.
Your body adapts to it. Thank you. That's the word. So I know my body can adapt to anything.
Yeah.
So my goal is like, let's look for those things and just keep getting adapted to them until the body can adapt. That's
what humans do. Period. We adapt.
We adapt. Yeah.
And if you don't, you end up nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
You know, if you don't adapt, you either literally die.
You die.
In physical consequences, or you just end up going nowhere. Yeah.
Let me
Totally.
take that same question back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you put yourself in situations like first do you love being uncomfortable, and then would you choose the part of, because there are times when life gives it to you, and then there are times when you look for it. Yeah, right?
The answer is that no, I don't love to be uncomfortable. I'm human.
Yeah.
I love being comfortable.
Comfortable, yeah.
It's what all humans seek.
Yeah.
We seek comfort. But I recognize the value in uncomfortable situations because I know they're challenging me.
Yeah.
And I know I can get better as a result. In the moment, I definitely don't like it. But there's something that pushes you through because there's some sort of reward at the end.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what it's about for me.
So are you more reward driven or process driven?
I mean, the answer is definitely both. But in striving for the reward,
Yeah.
I think you end up falling in love with the process. Mm-hmm. Initially, most things I think are started because of the reward, but then when you get deep into the process, you find some sort of comfort in going through the motions in a purposeful way. You know?
Yeah.
Day in and day out.
Yeah.
It's your routine. It's your habit. It's what you do. You're squatting every day. Some days suck. Some days you don't mind. Some days are great.
Yeah.
Right? Like the contrast between those low days and those high days averages out. And you end up realizing like, oh, okay, this is just what I do. I squat every day.
Squat every day, yeah.
Yep.
So what are like instances that you've what are some uncomfortable instances that you found yourself in or you put yourself through, other than the ones life gives to you? Like sometimes that you've intentionally just look for discomfort.
I've done a lot of different things. Everything from like meditation, float tanks, being alone, extremes. I'm a big fan of contrast. Extreme heat, extreme cold.
You ever played with those?
Absolutely. I've researched all the different benefits of things like saunas when it comes to heat shock proteins, when it comes to cardiovascular health and heart health. You sit in a sauna for 20 minutes, it's not comfortable. Your body's telling you, get out of there. Right? But you get better as a result of sticking through that. Same thing with the extreme cold. Like I've done a lot of different things with the cold, including, taking ice baths, ice showers. I broke ice in a lake, swam under there for a little bit. Dunked myself in. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When was that? Please share this story.
This was back in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
I found out about this this Dutch guy named Wim Hof.
Yeah, Wim Hof, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He set a bunch of world records. He swam under a meter of ice in the Arctic Circle up in Finland, I think. Was able to basically triple the world record. He dived into the water. His retina froze. He went temporarily blind. So he ended up swimming all over the place and ended up tripling the world record. He does all this crazy mountaineering stuff.
But in pains.
What was that?
But he was in pains.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it sucks.
How do you do that?
I mean, think about the feeling that you would get jumping into. You have to cut a hole in the ice.
Yeah.
Right? and then you have to jump
Jump
down there.
down there.
You have the fear that comes along with it, knowing, oh geez, I just have this small hole that I need to come back through to get air. And you jump into the water and it's ice cold. It sends a crazy shock to your body. You know, it's nuts.
You did that too.
Something similar,
Something
not
similar.
as extreme.
Yeah.
But I did a full program where the culmination was, I decided I would go to a lake in New Hampshire, break some ice, and see if I could do it too.
How did you get to that stage?
I took 10 weeks and did some different types of mindfulness training, some different breathing techniques, and slow cold exposure.
Yeah.
Over time. That's not very dissimilar from putting a bar on your back. Like you start with the bar.
Yeah.
Well, I start with 30 seconds in the cold water. Then the bar, you add 50 pounds and you do some reps.
Yes.
I decided I would add an extra 30 seconds to the beginning of my shower. You know, so 30 seconds cold, take your nice warm shower that's comfy, 30 seconds cold, and things just keep evolving to the point where you're squatting 500 pounds, and over here you're taking a 10-minute ice cold shower, and you're relaxed. Because you've acclimated to it. You've built up over time. You haven't said like, oh man, I'm gonna jump in the ice lake on day one, you know, because then your body freaks out.
Yeah.
It's just like that old saying or that little story about, you know, you take a frog and you put it in a pot of cold water. It's fine. If you take a frog and you throw it in a pot of boiling water, it freaks out. It jumps out real quick, right? Like it senses that.
Yeah.
But if you put the frog in the water and you turn up the heat and you let it slowly heat up, well, now that frog's dinner.
Because he was relaxing. He wasn't until I
mean, it's just about getting your body to slowly adapt over time.
Yeah.
The problem with most processes is that people can't see it through for the long course of time. You know, it takes lots and lots of time to be able to do these things.
That's true.
Same thing with making money, same thing with relationships, et cetera, et cetera.
That's true. That's true. So you believe the body can do anything?
I don't know about anything, but I do think that we're more capable than what most people give themselves credit for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You can overcome a lot.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that there are things about the body and the mind that we haven't come close to understanding yet.
I know, right? Yeah. I agree with you on that one.
Some people have done some pretty great things.
For real.
You know, like walking down the street, I look at a building and I think it's easy to see a building and forget about all the hard work and planning that goes into the engineering behind it, the materials, putting all the pieces together, planning things out, the man hours, the amount of time that it takes to actually build that stuff. I'm amazed at like some really old architecture, and I can't even fathom how people can do that kind of stuff, but yet it happens. Just like maybe some people look at you or they look at me and they can't believe how, you know, you've gotten to that level of strength or success or what have you.
Yeah.
But it happens. People figure things out. They innovate. They adapt.
That's true. So what stage are you at right now? Like, are you comfortable with yourself, or you're still seeking, you know, more growth?
I think that I'm never comfortable with myself. You know, that's one of the things that drives me, is like there's always a part of myself that I don't like or I want to improve.
Yeah.
Or there's some place that I'm trying to get to. It's the times that you're not working towards anything that I hate, honestly.
Yeah, that moment of life when you just not
I'm looking
chasing, not
I'm looking for the next thing. Like that sort of energy that you get when you finally find something that you latch onto and you're passionate about.
Yeah.
It consumes you.
Yeah.
And you can't stop because you're hungry.
I know. So right now, what's that project that, I don't know if it's possible for you to share with us, like, you know, that thing that like consumes you, like, you know, wakes you up every morning? Go, 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 go.
For me, I've been working a lot more on professional things recently.
Okay.
You know, I've been moving up in my roles at work.
Yeah.
Taking on more.
Yeah.
Managing more people.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm always working on is my people skills.
Yeah.
Understanding other people. Not just sympathy, but empathy.
Yeah.
A true understanding. Communication skills.
Yeah.
Reading people.
Mm-hmm.
Social cues. Cues with the eyes. Also working on, you know, things from myself physically. Wanting to get myself to different levels of strength. Financially too.
Yeah.
You know, I've been focusing on getting more into investing, trading stocks,
Yeah.
setting myself up for the future. And I've always had a hunger for developing my mind more.
Mm.
So being able to sharpen my mental skills, things with meditation, being able to kind of journey inwards. That's the stuff that I'm working on right now.
Wow. So I like how you talked about working on your mind more, improving your mind. What are some ways that, you know, someone can improve their mind?
It might sound dorky, but I think all of the answers are within. You have to start to look inwards. And there's this weird thing where I can say that to you and you can nod your head and say that you understand. But until you go through different life experiences, I've realized that you might not understand the way that I understand, or the things that you say to me, I might not fully understand because I haven't gone through your life experiences.
That's true.
You know, when you read a book or you watch a movie and then 5 years goes by and you rewatch that movie or you reread that book, all of the different life experiences between then the first time you read it or watched it and the second time you read it or watched it, like, you just understand it in a different way.
That's
you
true.
pick up on things that you missed the first time.
Yeah.
Or you read it and you say, whoa, like, there's no way I could have understand that where I was in life back then, but now all of the different things that happened to me, I understand it in a completely different way. It's changed my perspective totally. You can learn a lot more from things that you thought you learned about. You just revisit them with different life experiences, and now it means something totally different to you. Like, when you think you get something, a few years goes by and you revisit that, and then you're like, now I really get it.
I really get it, yeah.
Revisit it again in a few more years, and you're like, oh, you get new light bulb moments. That, like, aha type thing. You know?
So you kind of like revisit the past and just try to learn from it or something like that?
Yeah, I'm constantly revisiting stuff from the past and, like, definitely rereading things, you know? I'll even reread things that I've written. You know, I write down a lot of my thoughts,
That's nice.
ideas.
Oh, wow.
That kind of thing. And sometimes I'll reread them or rewrite them and think, like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, it doesn't even make sense to me now. Or sometimes I'll reread things and I'll be like, that was actually really deep, and here's how I think about it now. You know?
Yeah.
But for sure, like, you should go back to some of the old books that were very impactful for you.
Yeah.
Like, at an early level.
Yeah.
Reread them now with different life experiences, the things that maybe I've talked to you about or you've experienced at the gym or just in going through life, and see how it's impacting you in a different way now. I think you'd be surprised.
I know.
Things that you think you understood, well, you probably did understand, but now it's to an exponential level because of all those different life experiences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so you talked about starting from the inside.
Yeah.
It's all in you.
Mm.
You know. So when you start, like, you know, how do you start from the inside? You know, like, I'm still
Focusing my energy inwards.
How do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Does that lead to meditation, or, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, meditation definitely encompasses focusing inwards. For me, it's realizing that I am not my thoughts. The thoughts that are happening inside me
Yeah.
are just happening randomly. They're just appearing on their own. Just like the things that I hear outside, they're just appearing on their own. I don't control them. Just like the things that I see, they're just appearing. All these different things are just objects that I'm realizing, I notice, and ultimately don't define me. They don't make me. And I start to look at myself on an inner level and ask myself who I really am. Ask myself where my awareness lies and try to question that awareness. I think when you start to question your own consciousness, that's when you're really questioning what it means to be you. And that's the journey inside. It's starting to ask a question about who you really are. Like when you start to question the nature of consciousness and you realize that, well, it's not my thoughts, it's not the things that I hear, it's not the things that I see, it's not the pictures popping in my head. Well, then what am I?
That's deep. So what do you do with those thoughts when they come to you? So you said you are not your thoughts. And then you get these thoughts. What do you do with them? Can you give an example of a thought that you've had recently, like, and then what you do with those thoughts,
All right. I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
I try to pick up the weight that I picked up pre-COVID. I'm still not back to where I was. Can't move it. And I say, oh, you idiot. You're weak now.
You're weak now.
You're not where you were. You've been spinning your wheels. You've gone nowhere. You've gone backwards. That's not me. That's some sort of negative thought. I observe it.
Yeah.
I recognize it. I decide how I want to act on it. Like all of those different thoughts that are popping up in your mind, you just have to look at them and notice them, and then from there decide if you want to act on them or not. But you do have to realize they're separate from whatever you really are.
That's deep.
You can consciously control your thoughts.
Yeah.
But what about all of the mind chatter that is constantly popping up?
Yeah. And it's really, really like comes up to like what you picture yourself. Like for example, people want to change habits and all that. They always start with the result, action, and then the identity, how they see themselves. But honestly, the right way is how you see yourself, the action, then the result. For example, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to look skinny. That's the result they're saying. I want to start working out. That's the process. And then lastly, they see themselves as healthy. So even just by doing that, the whole thing is screwed up. First, you have to see yourself as healthy, and then start taking those process.
I see what you're saying.
Of being healthy before you get that result. Someone could be in that the opposite circle of it and say, oh yeah, for example, it's like saying I'm a smoker trying to quit smoking. Or it's like, even like, it's how you call yourself in that moment. Like, for example, let's use fat person. Like, oh, I'm trying to be healthy. No, you are not trying to be healthy. Just say you are healthy. It's like calling you, because it's like you saying you're trying or something. It's like, it's not, it might not work. It might work, you're just trying it out, but like, you have to start calling yourself that name. Like, I'm healthy. I am.
Are you saying you have to envision yourself in your final form, like where you ultimately want to be?
Yes, where you ultimately want to be. See that picture first, and then take the steps.
I got you.
Before you achieve that result.
Yeah.
But now we live in a world where it's the opposite that is being done. They first see themselves, take the action, but the identity is what no one really cares about, works on. You get it, right? I don't know if you experience things like that, but yeah, that's...
I mean, I think based off of that, one of the problems is something like social media.
Yeah.
because everyone is trying to envision themselves as they see other people.
That's
and trying
true.
to compare themselves and trying to, you know, look at different sorts of stars, celebrities, people of influence,
Yeah.
and saying like, oh, I want to be like that,
Yeah,
without
yeah.
looking at themselves
So-
first and trying to picture themselves and what it's like to be successful.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice one. Nice one. You got my light bulb, especially with that the part where you talked about the thoughts, like you are not your thoughts, you know. Because I honestly, we all get these thoughts.
Do you recognize that though?
Yeah, 100%.
You know you're not your thoughts? You know, all of the negative things that pop up in your head every day? That's not you.
I didn't know that. Like I
All of
know
the-
some of it that
All
wasn't.
of the positive things that pop up in your brain too, all of the good things,
Mhm.
it's not you.
It's not you. So what are you?
That's the big question.
That's the big question.
Because when you take away all of that stuff,
Yeah.
you're just pure consciousness.
Yeah, consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's tough for people to realize that though.
Yeah.
It's random. It's just appearing. I mean, it might be colored by experiences in life,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem random to you, but it is.
I believe you.
All of the negative self-talk. I mean, I think it's easy to say that the negative stuff is not you,
It's not you.
but it's tough to say that the good stuff is not you too.
That's like next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you like that's you taking that point from. It's like there's levels to this. A beginner might say, someone might say, it's like, oh, first level is, yeah, let's try to make you not to believe in these negative thoughts, which sounds very comfortable. But to a point where you're like, even the positive thoughts are not you. And you're like, what the fuck am I? You know, that's all like, then who are you? You know, but like, it's really powerful because if you can take life for good and bad and accept it as what it is,
Yeah.
it's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a win.
You're just that awareness.
Just that awareness.
You're that consciousness.
That's why, honestly, and that's what makes you tough, because you're like, it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Like
We're gonna keep moving.
we're gonna keep moving. I'm not good. I'm not bad. I am just.
I'm not claiming that it's easy all the
It's
time
all-
either.
yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that I don't go through struggles, because
Struggles,
I
yeah.
definitely do.
Yeah.
And even in saying this, I know that later on tonight, some kind of negative thought's
Thoughts
gonna pop
pop
up
up
in my
on my
head,
head.
and I'll think to myself like, "Oh shit, that like," and then I realize, whoa, that's not
you.
me.
So you.
It's just you observe it,
Yeah.
and when you observe it, you realize very quickly it disappears. Next time, you know, later on tonight, you have a thought. Just take a second to observe that thought and watch how quickly it disappears. Watch what its half-life is.
Gotcha.
It'll keep popping up,
It will keep it. Yeah.
but watch the half-life. Maybe the first time it bothers you and lasts for a few seconds.
Yeah.
The next time it's shorter.
It's shorter. Yeah.
shorter.
It's like a relationship, like, you know, after the first heartbreak, you know, the first moment you think about it hurts you so much, but the more you gradually get to a stage where it's lesser now, and then all of a sudden it just vanishes away.
Especially when you realize what's going on.
Yeah. And like the same with a good relationship too. At first it's always sweet. That's where we come back to the part where even the positive thoughts are not you, because relationship is sweet, you know, and then all of a sudden you like, yeah, it's sweet. It is what it is, you know, like now I'm not even, you know, the first time you think about this, oh, it gets you that goosebumps, and all of a sudden the goosebumps start to limit to a point where now you think about that person and you're like, it's not like zero goosebumps, but you're like, yeah, it is what it is, you know. Yeah. That is. It's the first time I'm actually having a conversation like this, because I'm always used to hearing like the negative thoughts are not you, but just putting my mind at this point where even the positive thoughts are not you.
Well, none of your thoughts
None
are
of
you.
your thoughts are you. None of your thoughts are you. Man.
Just like you hear a siren outside right now.
Yeah.
Can you control that?
No.
You hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your thought is just like that siren outside.
Damn.
It's there. It's
I'm
there.
getting high on my own call. Like literally, like I am getting so much out of this. And guys, if you're listening to this, I think this is the most.
It's really important stuff. It's the journey inwards. Mm-hmm. And guess what?
I have no.
We were just talking about stuff like the extreme cold.
Yeah.
Those really, really uncomfortable points in your life, when you subject yourself to extremes, those are the times, I think, emphasis on I think, that you're most like whatever you really are. Let me ask you this. If you jump into an ice cold lake,
Yeah.
do you think you have a bunch of negative self-talk running through your mind? Do you think something's saying like, "Lucky, you need more money"? Lucky, No, you're like,
it's not even close.
it just centers
It's just
you.
centered, yeah.
It focuses you because that is the dominant force. That's what's going on. When you have 400 pounds on your back, do you have any of that?
Bank. Oh, I have rent to pay. Oh, you stupid. And no.
All you've got is that. Yeah.
That moment, that weight, that's all you think of.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even thinking of, you're the best, man, you got this. No, it's just like, we have to just go on.
Yep.
So basically, we just been.
That's the shortcut to meditation.
That's the shortcut to meditation. I know you're huge. I don't really know that too much, but I believe you meditate a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll have you.
I do every day.
Every day. I think the next time we'll have you, we'll talk about meditation.
All right.
Because I wanted to bring that in
We
this
just
conversation.
did.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
Everything that I just said, that's
Yeah,
meditation.
That's meditation, really?
Yeah. It's just realizing, it's picking something to focus on,
Yeah.
observing it.
Yeah.
When your attention gets distracted, it's refocusing on what you decided to focus on. So let's just take something simple like your breath.
Yeah.
You can focus on anything,
Yeah.
but let's take your breath. All right, so I'm sitting here, I've got my eyes closed.
Yeah.
I'm breathing. I'm aware that I'm breathing.
Yeah.
I'm aware that I'm breathing.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, you need more money.
Money.
And I say, okay, I saw that. Now I'm coming back to the breath. Josh, you're breathing. You're breathing. You're breathing.
That happens to you
This
when you
pops up.
meditate too?
What do you mean?
Because it happens. I tried meditating and it happened, and I'm like, fuck this. So just hearing.
That is the most common misconception about meditating.
Yeah.
People think that meditation is stopping your thoughts.
Mm.
There is no way to stop your thoughts unless you kind of do what I was talking about with the extreme cold or what, even still, you're not stopping your thoughts, but you're shutting down a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's no way to quiet your mind.
Wow.
It's always going to happen. Maybe over time, things get a little bit calmer. And it depends on your state of mind. It depends on energy in your body and all sorts of different things. But yeah, that's one of the biggest common misconceptions about meditations. You think, oh, I have to be sitting there and be completely silent in my head. Or like, why am I thinking about something? I failed. Like, this is a waste of my time. This isn't working out. That's not meditation. Meditation is just, you know what a successful meditation is?
Mm-mm.
It's just one time realizing that thought and refocusing yourself on whatever you chose to focus on.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just using the breath as an example.
Yeah. So it comes in.
You say, oh, there it is, coming back.
But then I'm back to.
That's successful meditation.
That's successful meditation. And that's kind of, even in life too, it applies to life. You're going for a goal. Distraction. Yes, back to the goal.
Yeah. Totally. Yep.
Wow.
I wish more people understood that, because for me in the beginning, I got really discouraged and didn't want to keep doing it because I thought I wasn't improving. I thought that I wasn't doing it right.
That's what I stopped too. I was doing it. Now you just told me the same. That's why I stopped. I was like, my mind is all over the place. But it's actually having those thoughts and then coming back to focus.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because you realize, like, that's just appearing just like anything else.
Yeah.
Like that siren, that person yelling. Yeah, I'm using sounds, but anything that pops up visually.
Yeah.
Like if you close your eyes and you end up seeing pictures in your mind.
Yeah.
You're daydreaming almost. Like, that's just another thing appearing randomly on its own. It's appearing in consciousness. And you say, oh, yep, I see that. Now I'm going to focus on whatever I was focusing on.
You ever thought about writing a book?
Yes.
You should write a book.
I want to. A lot of people have told me to write a book.
I would love to read your book. Right?
But I appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. The things that I'm saying right now are just me parroting what I've learned from other people.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm extrapolating based off of the different things that these aren't my unique ideas. So a lot of things that I've thought about, but they're not mine from the beginning, and I would want to write a book purely about my thoughts.
Your thoughts,
you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to say things that have already been said.
Oh wow.
That's the reason I haven't opened my own gym either.
So you think? I like that. So you think actually the world, like, because a lot of us think that everything has been done, everything has been said, but you still feel like everything has not been said, everything has not been done.
For sure.
For sure, right?
I don't know what those things are, but yeah, for sure.
Because now you're saying, because I feel like with what you already have said here, you know, I would want to read a book that you write.
Well, let's take that Wim Hof guy that I just talked about.
Yeah.
I learned from him and his method and the things that he did.
Yeah.
The stuff that he was teaching is not unique to him. He learned it from a bunch of yogis.
Yeah.
Those traditions have been around for thousands of years. He learned it from Tummo meditation that Tibetan monks used for thousands of years. You know, it's not even unique to him. It's been passed down.
But I mean, it works, right?
Yeah.
That's a whole level. Like, that's why you're mentally tough, because you're not even... A regular guy would just say, yeah, I'll just put this together and sell it. It's still going to work. But you're saying, like, I still can't do that, you know. It's not unique, you know. Like, that's... Yeah, that's why you face what you face. That's why you could, because what you're looking for is not even it's not. So there's this word. If you read this book, Relentless by Tim Grover.
Okay.
You haven't read?
Mm-mm.
But you know Tim Grover? Tim Grover.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was Michael Jordan's trainer.
Okay. Yeah.
Kobe's trainer, Wade's trainer, and all that. Yeah, he came up with 3 words: coolers, closers, and cleaners. So coolers are like the guys that at work that just show up at 9 and leave at 5. They do anything you want them to do at that period. They do it. Closers are, they would go beyond the 9 to 5 if it's not affecting their schedule. You know, you're like, okay, stay a little hour. I'll stay as long as I don't have anything to do at that moment. You know, they'll go above and beyond as long as it's not affecting their schedule.
Yeah.
Cleaners, you don't even have to tell them. They just do it. Even before you say, go, they're already doing it. And he kind of like put MJ in that cleaning position. Mm-hmm. And that's what made MJ great, because MJ is not the type of person that... So he basically said, closers are the ones, cleaners are the ones that you would come and say, it's enough, go. You get it, right? You, like, because of how much they've stayed, you're like, go. We don't, like, just go. So, like, and it's a very interesting book. I read it almost every year of my life.
Really?
Yes. It's one of the books, like, it will put you in a whole different ballgame.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you learn something different each time you read it?
Yes.
You proved my point from earlier.
I was going to prove that point a long time ago. I was going to say it, but because every time I read a book, I get a different insight from it. I'm like, I never said this. That's why I really like go back to my old stuff. I'm trying to make it more like a habit of just going back to old stuff. And
that's exactly what I was saying earlier.
No.
You recognize it.
I agree with you 100%. Like, trust me, I don't doubt like what is like for real.
No, I'm not saying that you doubted me, but what I'm saying is I'm glad that you realize that for yourself. Besides just me telling you.
Yeah. So like it's this word cleaners like that's kind of like, you know, the word that I like to, you know, categorize people and all that, and with what you're striving for, you have that MJ mindset. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I hope I could be half as successful as him someday.
I mean, you see, that's that. You know that, and that's the thing. Like, but like, it's not even about the success. It's about what you want, what you're trying to go for. You get it, right? Even just something like you could fail at it, but like you said, you don't even believe in failure, so it's not even a failure to you. But you went for it, which is the most important thing.
I'm not afraid of failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly don't feel failure at all. I don't want to say at all, but like I just realize that I'm just gonna keep figuring it out until I figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a part. I recognize it's a part of it.
Yeah. And what made me bring that up was because you said that you wanted to write a book that was your own thoughts. And like I said, most of this book we're reading, they reference people in it. You know, they make reference to, oh, this. And you could write a book like that and still make money out of it. You get right, referencing people's thoughts, but you're saying that no, I don't want to do that. I want to create my it doesn't. I want to create my own thoughts and write a book, and and that just made me realize that that's why you face what you face, and someone might feel bad for you, but it's like no, don't feel bad for him. He has some like it's like this goals are so big that literally like scares you and just makes you work double and triple and fourple. So
I have a list of goals, not very many, but a handful of them written down on a piece of paper that I read every single day.
Wow.
So it's fresh in my mind. If you hold something constantly in your mind and you have some sort of motivation and backing behind it, or some sort of discipline, like you're gonna reach that goal just because of the fact that you're constantly focusing on it. You're constantly thinking about it. You're constantly holding it in your mind's eye. That picture, what you're saying.
Yeah.
You gotta envision yourself.
I think this is gonna be my last question, but do you believe in setting so many goals, or you believe in setting like not little goals but just specific goals? Because I've seen people like write goals, I want to do boom, and they didn't even achieve any of them. And I've seen someone that just said, this year I just want this.
Yeah, I think it's definitely you're more likely to achieve those things if you're focusing on less at one time.
Yeah.
Like when you start to focus on too many things and your mind is divided, your efforts are divided, and you start to lose sight of one of the other things, you can only handle so much. So I don't know what the number is, the number of different things to focus on, but if you have 3 solid things, 5 solid things, that you're constantly focused on, and they're maybe all related in some way, I think that's appropriate. But when you try to start to say like, okay, I'm going to become a millionaire, I'm also going to become ripped, I'm also going to be blah, 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 like everything at the same time, I think it's not impossible, but you're very unlikely to achieve all at once. Just like in the gym, if you say, okay, I want to be the strongest man alive, and I want to be the world's longest distance runner, I want to run 100-mile races. Those goals are kind of conflicting. You can't be the strongest
man and run.
You have to do one at a time. You can do both. But both of them take lots of time, and you should probably focus your efforts more towards one thing. I have a question for you now.
Please ask me.
So you were talking about this a little bit earlier, and I don't have the answer for it. But you have strengths, you have weaknesses. Do you think it's more intelligent to try to take your weaknesses and bring them up, or to just leave your weaknesses the way they are and double down and reinvest in your strengths and make your strengths even stronger? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Is it better to improve your weaknesses and kind of round everything out? Or is it better to say, I am an absolute beast, I'm an expert, I'm a master at this, and I'm only going to make myself even better. I'm going to separate myself from the pack even more.
So I'll give you two answers to this. One is I will be a master at one thing. You know, I would rather focus. It depends on the variables. Like, I would rather focus on one thing and be a master at it, and then assign what I'm not good at to someone. For me, I believe.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was a good answer.
I believe time. I believe I could pay for something.
You know what that's called?
What's that?
A team.
A team. Yeah. I believe in, like, I believe that if I don't know this, I wouldn't waste my time to go learn it. It's not a waste of time. I might want to have a general knowledge of how it works, you know, the numbers and stuff like that, just to know, just to at least know when someone is doing wrong in the team, and, you know, point, but not to question them too much, you know. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I would rather get someone on board to take care of that part, pay that person, while I'm using my time to make, you know. So mm-hmm. That's kind of like how I work.
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah. But the second answer was that I actually had in mind. But this is my number one answer. This is me, you know. But in a selfish world, like, you know, sometimes some people want to be selfish and say, oh, I can be 50-50, you know, I can go 50-50. I can still work on my, you know, still keep my strength up there, and then also just, you know, try to build my weak point up. But I've never believed in that. I have always believed in, you know, just doing one thing and, you know, being the master of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a question that I've thought about a lot in the past, and I think maybe the way that my personality is, I like to go against the grain a little bit. I like contrarian things.
Yeah.
So I think naturally people would say, oh, you should improve your weaknesses.
Yeah.
But, and I don't disagree, but I think I lean into improving my strengths even more.
Even more, yeah. Yeah. Like, I'll use an example. I'm never good at maths, numbers. I mean, it's not like I never want to even use the word I'm never good at, but you just made me realize that it's just a thought. So, like, you know, I'm never good with numbers, you know, but I mean, I could do the basic stuff, you know, but not to the level where, and I was in college and I was trying to be good at this, like, oh boy, and I realized that years past, I still wasn't good at it, you know, so, well, what was I good at? Reading. What was I good at? Art.
So you reinvested in your strengths.
So I never worry about numbers. I never worry about, if I have something to do with numbers, I have someone that I want to meet about numbers.
I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
good stuff.
It's funny because my parents never knew that, and they wanted me to be good at what I was bad at. They would totally neglect my successes, the A's that I got in reading and all that, and just, why did you fail this one? Like, why would you fail this one without knowing that was my weakness, you know? And they'll blame you, and then you forget about your strength, and then now start working on your weakness, and your strength now starts going down. Your weakness, you're trying to bring it up, but it's still, and then now you just screws the whole thing. I don't know if that's how it works, but kind of like from a mindset point, that I think like that's how, you know, that whole thing kind of works, you know. So yeah, like it's more like a strength, and then we empower ourselves. That's where the empowerment comes from, you know. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's
why I brought you here, you know. Like, I know I'm not, you know, the best at, you know, a conversation like that, even if I know, you know, but I always want to, you know, I feel like, I mean, that's what this whole podcast is here for. It's like a branch of so many things. Where I'm good at, I could bring this platform, you know.
Yep.
Or maybe someone else can talk about something. I brought the platform. Okay, you bring your knowledge.
Yeah.
You bring your knowledge. You bring your knowledge, and that's how we go. I wouldn't want to be the one that, I have to go read all night to come talk about this, when I know someone's out there that would just come and sit and just drop the message, you know. Yeah.
That reminds me about learning life lessons. Like, you could go through some really tough life lessons yourself and have to endure the different struggles, the emotions that go with it. You have to put yourself through something terrible, maybe.
Yeah.
Or you could just learn from somebody
Somebody
else's
else's.
experience.
That's why I read a lot. Honestly, people say, "Why I'm like success leaf clues," you know. So I don't want to make those mistakes. So
I'd much rather learn the lesson by reading about somebody else that went through it than going through it myself.
But yeah,
I might not understand it to the level that they understood it because I didn't go through the experience, but I understand it enough to learn the lesson.
and the thing is that not everyone is as strong as they are. You know what I excelled, failed and got up from. You might fail and not get up. You understand, right? So why, So but
That's true too.
That's
a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Oh man, but yeah, this was a great conversation, man.
I agree. This is fun. We'll do it again.
We'll do it again. We'll pick on something else. Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you guys know the time right now that we're having this conversation, Josh, thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. We talked about mental toughness and then finally boiled down to the most important thing of this conversation is what he said, you are not your thoughts. Honestly, like, that was where the whole conversation changed for me. I think the first time we were just going through the surface, and then when we got to that point where you said you are not your thought, and then you came up with the whole you're not your positive and negative thoughts, took it to a whole nother level. You understand? And then
But people have heard that kind of thing before.
Yeah,
but to actually understand it is another thing.
Yeah.
Even me telling you that, I think you understand, but I don't know if you understand the same way that I understand.
Yeah.
And you have to go through that journey for yourself. To understand it, maybe even to a more significant degree than I do. Yeah. It's like cliche to say like, oh, you're not those thoughts.
Yes, sir.
But to actually have that true understanding is a different story.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of today's episode. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, and share with your friend, okay? Till then, see y'all later. Peace.
See you guys.